In this presentation, we'll be taking a quick look at the automatic tabbing feature available within our 2013 SS Profile module. While there are a number of customization options available within the feature that allows you to set up a wide array of tabbing qualifiers and characteristics, we'll be taking a cut and clean approach here and simply looking at the feature as a whole. With that said, of course, we do offer in-depth e-learning videos through our customer portal that will walk you through detailed configuration and usage processes regarding the auto-tabbing feature. Following this showcase, you can visit our website at www.strikersystems.com, click Login in the upper right-hand corner to access our customer portal, and access these additional videos through our e-learning section. However, please keep in mind that this portal does require a username and password, so you will need this information to log in successfully. If you need any assistance with either retaining or recovering this information, you can contact us here at 800-950-7862 or email us at sales@striker-systems.com. Okay, moving on. Our auto-tabbing feature allows you to set up qualifiers that determine where tabs are automatically placed, as well as how many and in what locations, giving you control over the entire approach. Once enabled, these qualifiers remain active until they are modified or disabled, and directly result in the application of your tabs as the burn path data is simultaneously being applied to the geometry. Now, while complete automation is a great thing, scenarios will arise that will change your preference on how and where tabs are applied, whether it be the presence of filleted corners in place of sharp corners, large knockouts versus small knockouts, whatever the case may be. We wanted to make sure that you had as much overall control as possible and could easily react to these changes in your nest jobs or individual parts without having to revise your default configuration settings whenever these situations arise. As a means to avoid putting you in that position, we also included a user-based interaction system that allows you to add, remove, and position tabs via a drag and drop based technique. This way you can leave your default qualification system set to handle the majority of your auto-tabbing needs while easily making tweaks to the parts that fall outside of those guidelines in a way that's fast, easy, and empowering. We'll be referring to this type of approach as interactive auto-tabbing. To put all of this into action, I'm actually going to process one of my nested layouts so we can see the mixture of configured qualification settings as well as interactive auto-tabbing. I'll start by processing this one layout here inside of my SS Nest Wizard. Auto NC Selected will automatically process the parts nested within that layout, applying the burn path data and my tabs all at once. If I remember correctly, I believe I had my auto tab settings set up to apply 2 to 3 tabs to my part perimeters based off the overall length of the burn paths. So let's modify this process layout here and see. So I'll just run the QView command to get a quick view of the part's perimeter here. And there we can see the 2 tabs applied through the auto tabbing feature. Now let's look at this other part, which should have met the qualification requirements for 3 tabs. And there we can see the 3 tabs automatically applied through the auto tabbing feature. Now I've set up this situation to show you how you can make on-the-fly modifications, since there really wouldn't be any need for 3 tabs on this particular part, or 1 or 2 would more than suffice. So we can see that we have 3 instances of this part, and that each instance has the same applied tab. So I'm just going to run the add modify profile tabs command in this selected perimeter of this one part, which will take me to the part tab modification dialog. So we see each of our 3 perimeter tabs, with the primary lead in and lead out identified by the yellow arrow indicator. I'm going to start by simply clicking on the lower tab to remove it. And then I can freely drag and drop the remaining tabs to the positions that I prefer. You can see here that they snap to the corners, so I don't really have to worry about leaving a small gap between the tab lead and the side of the part. You can rest assured that the tab part and the part edge are completely collinear with one another. Also note that you can drag the tabs around the corner as a means to set up true corner-based tabs, but for this scenario, I'll leave them set for a collinear corner tab. I've been focusing on the perimeter so far, but what if we want to place or modify tabs on the internal burn paths as well? Notice that the internal paths are red, whereas the perimeter-based burn path is green. Green indicates the active burn path, meaning that any changes made will only affect the active burn path. So now that this hole is activated, I see the lead identifiable by the green arrow. If I desire to turn my lead in and lead out into a tab, then all I have to do is left click on it. And now we can see the arrow turning yellow, and a zoom in will allow us to see the tab in a little bit better detail there. If I happen to change my mind, all I have to do is click on the tab again to turn it back into a standard lead in, lead out. Now take a moment to notice information docked in the upper right hand corner of the dialog. It contains property data relevant to the active burn path. I can use this to get a quick report as to the overall length of an active burn path, or just information relevant to the complete part as well. Just so we can get an all-inclusive example here, I'm going to go ahead and apply a lead tab to this small op around here. So now I have two perimeter-based tabs and a tab applied to my internal op round as well. Since I have 3 instances of this part in my nested layout, I would like to take the changes that I made here and propagate them across each of them. To achieve this, I will simply enable the viewed part and all of its occurrences under the global part filter section. You may also notice that we can enable the option that part angles must match. Since I don't have a need for that here on accounts that each of these parts share the same orientation, I will leave it disabled and select apply to record my changes and update my layout. So we can see the updated tab locations across 3 of my nested parts. We can see that the formatting of the perimeter and internal tabs has propagated all the way through each instance of the part, giving me the exact results that I was shooting for. Now I do want to take an opportunity to explain the qualification system as well, so I'll back away from these 3 parts here so I can focus on this larger part over to the left. Now I don't really want tabs in this particular case, but we can see that it currently has 2 placed around the perimeter, one of them on a rounded corner. I'm just going to take a quick note over here in the upper right hand corner of the burn length that we're dealing with. To explain why they were applied this way, let's go ahead and go into the configuration manager in the upper left hand corner and then go to setup under perimeters. Note that I only have 3 of the 6 qualifiers enabled, and only 2 of those are allowed to apply tabs. The middle option is set to a 10 by 10 length and width, meaning that parts falling within this range receives 3 tabs, placed relative to the Y, and 30% from the corners. To the right we can see that any part perimeter greater than 10 by 10 receives 2 tabs instead. Now I could change the unlimited qualifier to another tab option, disable it, or increase the range of the second option, but in this case I'm going to go ahead and leave it and simply handle it through the interactive auto tabbing instead. And speaking of which, you'll notice a number of options along the bottom of the dialog. These simply serve as temporary overrides. I'll go ahead and activate auto tab overrides here. While I do have a number of self-resolving options available to me here, I am personally going to go ahead and select no tabs to remove any and all tabs present from the active burn path on this part. And as before, since I do want these changes to propagate through the other instances of that part on my nested sheet, I'm going to go ahead and enable the viewed part and all of its occurrences option and hit apply. And now we can see that each of these 3 parts has been updated as well. And that's going to do it for our summarization of the automatic tabbing function available within our 2013 SS Profile software module. I hope that this has helped to shed a little bit of light onto this intuitive and easy to use tool, and I do recommend accessing our e-learning section of our Striker customer portal for additional videos that will walk you through the setup and the application of this feature across any array of various scenarios and applications. With just a little bit of setup on the front end, you really can use this tool to greatly improve upon the time devoted to your programming development phase. As always, thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again soon in the March edition of the Striker Newsletter Feature Showcase.